profession as architects, because I found out we are mostly working for privileged people, not working for societies. I think this role of architects is same historically. The people who has money and power, actually power and money is invisible, so that they hire us to visualize their power and money by making monumental architecture. That is our profession, even now. And I'm not saying I'm not interested in building monument, but also I thought we can work more for the public, and also some people who lost their houses by natural disasters. But actually, they are no longer natural disaster. For example, earthquake. People are killed not by earthquake by itself, but the people are killed by the collapse of the building. That is our responsibility. But the architects are not building temporary housing for them because we are too busy working for privileged people. I thought that even the temporary housing, if architect involved in the project, we can make it better. So that is why I started working in disaster area as well as working for privileged people. Can I start my slide, please? After I graduated from school, Cooper Union in New York, 1984, I went back to Tokyo immediately after to start my own practice. But I had no working experience, so I started designing exhibition. This is one of the first exhibition I designed for my favorite architect, Alvar Aalto in Finland. I want to design the exhibition like Alvar Aalto's building or interior using wood, but actually I couldn't afford using the wood, but also I didn't want to waste such a precious material like wood for temporary exhibitions. So I was looking for some alternative material to replace wood. And at that time, the architect, we used to draw on the tracing paper, and also fax paper used to be the roll of the paper. Always core of the roll is paper tube made of recycled paper. And I collect them because I hate to waste things. So that when I was looking for some alternative material to replace wood, I thought this is it. And I found out that we can make any diameter very inexpensively. Small diameter was used like Alvar Aalto's Beakley's library, and also the larger diameter was used as a freestanding partition. And I found out that the strength of the paper tube was much stronger than I expected. Next slide, please. Then I started testing. I wanted to use this material for the structure. So I worked with engineers, start testing in order to get government approval to use as a building material. Next, please. 1990, I was lucky to get this permission to design the temporary exhibition hall for half year. This time I didn't get the government permission to use a paper chip for the main structure. So there's steel columns supporting the roof, space frame roof. And the paper chip was just used as a freestanding non-structural wall. There's 330 tubes, length 8 meter, diameter is 55 centimeter, wall thickness is 15 millimeter, inside is of course is empty. And some of the tubes here is much bigger, diameter is 120 centimeter, inside is used as a toilet. In case you finish with your toilet paper, you can tears off inside the wall. Next, please. And then, yes? Okay. Next event here, start 1:30. Okay, I have to go quickly. So then I built my own weekend house to get this permission. Next, please. Then also I designed the arch structure. Every time I have to test it to get the government permission. Next, please. Then year 2000, I was very lucky to have the chance to design the Japanese pavilion for Hanover Expo. And I was also lucky to collaborate with Professor Fryoto to design first paper chip grid shell structure. I designed this, my goal of my design was when building was demolished. Because after the building demolished, after the expo over, we create a lot of industrial waste. So I worked with local manufacturer after we demolished the building, they agreed to take over use the tube to recycle again. And also I didn't want to use a concrete foundation because it's difficult to recycle. I made a wooden box filled with sand instead of using concrete. Also membrane, This is paper, waterproof, fire protected according to German regulation. Next please. And also the connections is just fabric tape. There are no metal connectors. So everything, almost thing can be recycled or used after the building was demolished. Next please. And this is the result. Next please. And also I started developing affordable housing system. This is called furniture house. The factory, these closet and bookshelves, everything made of the closet, made of the factory-made furniture. There is no columns or no beams, no walls as a structure. Everything is made of this factory-made furniture. Next please. It's so easy to build, non-skilled people can build easily. Everything you can see here is a factory-made furniture. Next please. And also idea using storage unit for the structure can be further developed for this project in Nomadic Museum. This is a museum for the Canadian artist Gregory Cobell. He wanted to have his own museum traveling all over the world. I use a shipping container, not because we can ship the shipping container. We can find the same container anywhere in the world because it's the international standard. So that this is in New York. When we move to the other cities, we don't have to move them because we can rent the same container anywhere in the world. We just connected the corner to eliminate the half number of the container. Next please. And inside the roof is supported by paper tube. Next please. Then it's Santa Monica, Los Angeles. As you see, the color of the container is different. And it's in Tokyo. Again, the different container. Every time wherever we go, we rent local containers. Next please. And this is one of my favorite houses by Mies van der Rohe. I must say this house is visually transparent because all the glass is fixed except these doors. But if you compare with this kind of transparency with the Japanese traditional house, when we open up all the sliding doors, house becomes totally transparent visually and physically because inside outside space is connected. So this is a simple house I designed for the couple who used to live in traditional Japanese house, enjoying openness. Next please. And also you can close the curtain. I call this house curtain wall house. You can use this curtain for keeping privacy and also shading. And it's totally connected inside outside. Next please. And this is a house called 2/5 house. This name came from the geometry. This is the front courtyard, indoor space, outdoor, indoor, outdoor. So two of five space are used as indoor. So this is when all the sliding door is open. Next please. All the ground floor is totally connected. And I put the Miesian glass box on top in order to compare Miesian transparency with the Japanese type of transparency underneath. Next please. And this is the house called 9 square feet house. There's all the sliding door you can open and close depending on the occasion. There's only bathroom, toilet has name. Otherwise there's no name like living room, dining room. In the winter you can put your bed the south side of the house. And summer you can put your bed north side of the house. It's cooler. In case you fight with your wife, you can have a 2 bedrooms separately. Next please. This is the house I call picture window house. This is a house to frame beautiful ocean view. Next please. As a picture window. Next please. This is a horizontal open window when the sliding door is open to capture the ocean view as a picture window. Next please. And again, this is a house in Sri Lanka. The theme is a picture window. Next please. So house is built on the hill. You have to step up little by little. Finally you arrive. Next please. Main lounge. Capture the main ocean view as a horizontal picture window. Next please. This is the house I utilize industrial shutter. Next please. In order to connect inside outside. This is a glass shutter normally used for the fire station or some warehouse, and it can be opened totally easily to connect inside outside. Even this family room is connected with this courtyard when shutter is totally open. Next please. And this is the headquarters for Swatch Group in Tokyo Ginza, and I was very lucky to win this competition. There's many open foyer. I didn't want to depend on air conditioning for the good seasons, so the front facade can be totally open to utilize natural ventilation. And one of the requests from client was that they want to have 7 boutiques of the Swatch Group owned, like Omega, Tissot, Pan, Jacket, so on. But the site is so narrow, we can have only one store in front, and the rest of them has to be the back or upstairs or downstairs. I thought that is unfair. I wanted to give same storefront to all the 7 boutiques. So what I did is creating a passage inside the building with the green and also water feature. Along this passage, there is a 7 glass showroom of each boutique. Next please. Then if you want to see more products, you just push the button, and each showroom is designed as a hydraulic elevator, bringing each customer to their own showroom. So that I succeeded to give all the storefront to the 7 boutiques along this passage. Next please. This is when the shutter is open. Even the elevator, the parking elevator can go down to create the passage. Next please. This is a metal shutter house in Chelsea, New York. I use the perforated shutter as a security shutter, and also there is shading, work as a shading, and also it's work as a mosquito net in the summer in New York. Next please. Even it's closed, as you can see the through, and this is the door I call bifolding door to connect the inside outside, and also creating shading. Next please. And 2004, I was very lucky to win the competition of the new computer center in the city of Metz. After winning the competition, I wanted to open my own office in Paris, but the renting office in Paris was very expensive. So I asked the president of the Pompidou if I rent their rooftop terrace. I wanted to make my own temporary office. So I got this terrace for 6 years, next please, and I brought my student to build the office by myself with paper tube and wooden connections. So I was very lucky to borrow this rooftop for 6 years without paying any rent. But there's one disadvantage. When my friend want to visit me, because we are part of the exhibition, they have to buy ticket to see me. That was very difficult. Next please. And this is a graphic panel I submitted for the competition of the Pompidou Center. This is a train station. This is our site. City is the north side of a train station. And I wanted to connect our building with the city somehow. And this is there is 3 different tubes for gallery tubes and different facing to different directions. This is a module 50 meter by 90 meter according to the requirement from Pompidou Center as a gallery. But I shifted different direction. End of the gallery, there is a big picture window. So from each window, we can frame important monument of city like this cathedral is here. And the train station was built when the city of Metz was occupied by Germany after the World War I. So that's the way to connect to the museum, which is the center of the city. And the main facade is made of glass shutter, which can be totally open to connect inside outside. Next please. And also roof. I designed the roof with timber. Idea came from this traditional Chinese bamboo hut. It's a woven bamboo creating hexagon. And the whole roof shape is hexagon. Because you may know that the shape of the France is nearly hexagon. That's the reason why for French people, hexagon is their national symbol. I thought in order to win the national competition, I thought I just want to please them, their nationality. So I used the hexagon. But now I'm working on some project in Israel. I use the same geometry with different type of the story behind. Next please. And this is completion with when shutter is closed. Next please. Roof is translucent to bring the pattern of the structure out. Next please. And this is when the glass shutter is totally open, connecting the cafe outside and plaza, so that the foyer is become totally open to the surrounding conditions. Next please. And this is a center steel tower, and all the structure is hung. This is overlapping, not aligned with each element, because I didn't want to use any metal connectors. So we just have one bolt to penetrate the 4 layers to connect them without any metal connections. Next please. This is the picture window framing the cathedral. Next please. And also I got the project in South Korea designing golf club house. And this time I use the same geometry, but this is simply simple compression arch instead of tensile structure like computer center in Metz. So it's all element is aligned without any metal connections. We just you made the joint connected by themselves aligned. Next, please. This is the interior. Next, please. Recently, I finished the office building in Zurich. It's a 7-story office building totally built with a timber structure. And the curtain wall was just, the pattern was aligned with next door building to be a part of the street fabric. Next, please. And this is a construction period. As you see, it's a very simple connections. There are no wooden metal connections. 2 layers of the beam, just a sandwich the columns. And this oval shape of the beam is just penetrated. Because it's oval shape, this is a rigid connection. It doesn't rotate to create the rigid connection without any metal connections. Next, please. So it was very quiet and very quick to build this structure. Next, please. Next, please. Even here we have a shutter to create an intermediate space for the people between inside and outside by opening glass shutter. Next, please. Going to the Rwanda in Africa, 1994, they had a big the fight between two tribes, Tutsi and Hutu, and over 2 million people became refugees. And when I saw this photo, I thought I was very shocked because people are freezing with blanket. And I found out that the shelter given by United Nations was not good enough for them keep the warm during rainy season. So I thought we have to improve them, otherwise any medical care doesn't help them. So I went to Geneva, High Commissioner for Refugees of United Nations, because they didn't reply any letter I wrote, so I had to go there without any appointment. And I was very lucky to meet a German architect who was in charge for the shelter construction. And he had some problem. That is why I was very lucky to be hired as a consultant. This is a typical refugee shelter in Africa. The United Nations has provided them plastic sheet 4 meter by 6 meter. And the refugees have to cut trees by themselves to make frame. Over 2 million people cut trees. This area used to be the forest, but all the trees gone, and they have to go much further to cut more trees. So that this become very heavy industrial environmental problem, deforestation. So that the United Nations provide them aluminum pipe to stop cutting trees, but aluminum is quite expensive material in Africa. That is why the refugees sold them out for money to cut trees again. So this didn't become a good solution. That's the time I proposed using the recycled paper tube for the structure. That is why I was accepted as a consultant to develop this idea further. Next, please. And I was very lucky to have some help from one of the important furniture companies.